Hello, welcome to an introduction to Enterprise Vault file system archiving from an end user's perspective. We'll see what a placeholder looks like in this video and what happens when an item is archived in relation to the modified date and the file size. We'll look at what an internet link looks like, what happens when a user opens an archive file, what happens when a user copies an archive file, and what happens when a user deletes an archive file. Here in Windows Explorer on a Windows XP test machine, we can see a file share in my test environment. The share contains a number of archived and non-archived files. Here is a non-archived file. Here is an archive file in the form of a placeholder. You can see that the icon associated with the file has a little marker on it. Here you can see the same file share and the same files from a Windows 8 test client. Again, look at the placeholder and you'll notice it has a slightly different indicator on the file icon. In both these situations, this is an indication that the item has been archived by Enterprise Vault and replaced by a placeholder. Effectively, a placeholder is a shortcut that has information stored in it which allows Enterprise Vault to find the original item in an Enterprise Vault archive and retrieve it when required. Retrieval happens when a user double-clicks on a file or as requested by an application. One of the common questions when it comes to file system archiving is whether the dates are modified at all on the files when they're archived. The answer is that they're not. Here is a folder with some files in it. Note the modified dates and times. Now I've just run the file server archiving task and you can see that some of the items have changed into placeholders, but the modified dates have not changed. Notice also that the placeholder file size is the same as the original file. This is to give a good end user experience. The placeholder file is actually much smaller than the original file. That's one of the main reasons for archiving the file in the first place. In some situations, the Enterprise Vault administrator may decide to replace the original file by an internet link instead. This may be because the underlying device does not support placeholders. Here are some examples of internet links to the archive files. These internet links enable Enterprise Vault to retrieve the original item in a similar way to the placeholders. These again operate just like a shortcut to the archived item. End users open placeholders or internet links by either double-clicking them in Windows Explorer or by opening them from within an application. Here we'll double-click on this Microsoft Word document, which we can see is a placeholder to an archived item. A few moments later, the document is shown in Microsoft Word. If we switch back to Windows Explorer, we'll notice that the file is now not showing as a placeholder. Enterprise Vault has fetched the item from its archive storage and placed it back on the file server so we can see it in client applications. The same happens if a file is opened from within an application. Note that the original file is still in archive storage. If the file is not modified, when the file server archiving task next runs, the item will be turned back into a placeholder. If the file has been modified, then it will be eligible to be re-archived, depending on the options set in the archiving policy relating to how old the file should be before it can be archived. Obviously, another common operation with files is that they are copied from one location to another. Here I'm copying files from a file server that has been archived by Enterprise Vault to my client machine. When I copy the files, they're retrieved by Enterprise Vault and the full file is copied to the destination. The final common operation which we'll see is deleting an archive file. What is actually deleted depends on whether the archive file is an internet link or a placeholder. For a placeholder, deletion behavior depends on the Enterprise Vault policy settings. The two options available are 1. Both the placeholder and the archived item are deleted, or 2. Just the placeholder is deleted. This second option allows the end user to use a tool like Archive Explorer to recover accidentally deleted files themselves, rather than requesting a restore of the file from an administrator or the help desk. For internet links, only the shortcut is deleted. And then if a user needs to delete the original item in the archive, they can use Archive Explorer if they have permissions to do the deletion. An Enterprise Vault administrator may not give users the permission to do this though for compliance reasons. In summary then, we've seen what placeholders and internet links look like and discovered that they act as shortcuts to the original file that's been archived by Enterprise Vault. We also saw how placeholders and internet links show the original dates and times on a file. Archiving an item doesn't change the modified date, for example. We also saw that the size that the user sees is unchanged, even when the item is just a small placeholder. We've seen what happens when an end user opens a file and also seen how the file is turned straight back into a placeholder if it's not modified the next time the file server archiving task runs. We saw that copying an archive file from one location to another results in the item being retrieved and copied to the destination. Finally, we saw that deleting an archive file can take one of two paths. Firstly, the archived item and the placeholder can be deleted, and the second option is that the placeholder is deleted but the archive file isn't. This allows end users to manually recover a file that's been deleted by mistake. I hope this short introduction to file system archiving from an end user perspective has been helpful to you. Thank you. Goodbye.